Hello dear children, welcome back to our online classes. So, as you all know that we are now discussing about the fourth unit from your science part, that is physical phenomena. And in that we are going to discuss, we have already started the first chapter, that is force and work. Yes. So in our previous class we have discussed about what is force and work. So just let me recall. What is energy? Yes, energy is the capacity to do work, or it is the ability to do work. So that we call as the energy. And energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can only transfer from one form to another. And also I explained about the force also. So what is force? Yes, the force can be defined as a push or pull that makes an object move. Yes, so this is force. And what is work? Yes, the work is said to be done when the force is applied on the object. So this is what we have discussed in the previous class, and I told you about the types of forces also. So tell me, what are the types of force? How many types are there? Yes, maybe I said yesterday about the types of force, and today we are going to discuss about those types of force in detail. Types of force. So there are different types of force are there. So the first one is muscular force. And the second one is magnetic force. And the third one is gravitational force. Gravitational force. And the fourth one is mechanical force. Mechanical force. And the fifth one is frictional force. So these are some of the types of force. So the first one is muscular force, second one is magnetic force, third one is gravitational force, fourth one is mechanical force, and fifth one is frictional force. So these are the different types of forces, and now we can discuss about these forces one by one. So now firstly we can discuss about the muscular force. So what is this muscular force? So you just write the definition. The force applied by body muscles to carry out tasks. The muscular force can be defined as the force applied by the muscles of the body, or by body muscles, applied by body muscles, to carry out tasks or to carry out works is called muscular force. So how can we define the muscular force? The force applied by body muscles to carry out tasks is called muscular force. So here by the body muscles, is applied by the muscles of the body or the force applied by body muscles, then that we call as the muscular force. This is what the kind of force, the muscular force. The force applied by body muscles to carry out tasks is called muscular force. ನಾವೇನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಏನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು? ಮಸ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಎಸ್. And now second type of the force, it is magnetic force. Magnetic force. So how can we define the magnetic force? Yes, what is magnetic force? The force by which a magnet pulls or pushes the objects made of certain metals is called magnetic force. The force by which the magnet pulls or pushes objects, pulls or pushes objects made by certain metals, made by certain metals is called magnetic force. Okay, so see, the force by which the magnet pulls or pushes. So the magnet, it may pulls the object or it may pushes the objects made by, see, remember this word, certain metals. Not all the objects. The magnet will not push or pull all the objects, but only it can push or pull the objects made by certain metals. ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು metals ಇರುತ್ತವೆ, that we can call as the magnetic materials. So only those objects it can pulls or pushes. So that is called the magnetic force. So now magnet use ಮಾಡಿ, suppose magnet ಇಂದ ಏನಾದರೂ force apply ಆಗಿ, suppose if the objects ಅದು pull ಅಥವಾ push by the magnetic force, if it is happen, so by using the magnet, if the force is applied by the magnet to pull or push the objects, so that we can call as the magnetic force. So to do this, just you take some coins or iron fillings. So that is made with the metal iron. So take some coins or iron fillings. The iron fillings means they are the small pieces of iron you can take, or you can take the nails as well, or you can take any of the materials which can be attracted by the magnet. So likewise you just take the coins or iron fillings, or you can take the iron nails and the pins, the stepper pins, and also the safety pin you can take. So likewise the objects made by the magnetic materials. So here certain metals they said, so certain metals means they are the magnetic materials. So magnetic materials and non-magnetic materials are there. Magnetic materials means they are attracted by the magnets, but non-magnetic materials means they do not attract by the magnets. ಈ magnet ಯಾವ attract ಆಗ್ತಾವೋ ಅವಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು? magnetic materials ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವು, ಅವು magnet ಇಂದ attract ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So those we call as the non-magnetic materials. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ coins, iron fillings ಅಥವಾ iron nails, safety pins, stapler pins ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡಿರಂದ್ರೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ They are made by the magnetic materials, so that can be attracted by the magnet. So that things we can take here. So take some coins or iron fillings and then bring the magnet near to it. So that time you will observe that it will pulls the iron fillings or coin towards it. ನಾವೇನಾದರೂ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್ ಐರನ್ ಫಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದರ ನಿಯರ್ ನಾವೇನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಹಿಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಕ್ಕೈತಿ ಈ ಕಾಯಿನ್ಸ್ ಐರನ್ ಫಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಪುಲ್ಸ್ ದೀಸ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಏನು ಹೋಗಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ ಕತ್ಕೊಳ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ವೈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಪುಲ್ಸ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ materials towards it. And also sometimes it pushes when the magnets are of the same pole. So the magnet is having the two poles, which is the north and south pole will be there, north and south poles. Okay, so magnet is having north and south pole. So here if the same magnet, if we take one more, the north and south pole, so here they always the opposite poles are attracting each other and the like poles are repels each other. ಈಗ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಇಂದ ಆಟ ಆಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಸೈಡಿಗೆ ಹಚ್ಚಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಂಡಿಗೆ ಹಚ್ಚಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಅದು ಹಚ್ಚಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ರಿಪೆಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ poles. All the magnets are having north and south poles. So always the north and south poles are attractive each other, but north or south poles they will repel each other. Our ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ poles ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ರಿಪೆಲ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಅದ ಸೇಮ್ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ poles ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತವೆ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. So here if we bring the magnet here, now it is the south and north pole. So is it attracts? Yes, they attract each other. Suppose if we bring the south pole here, yes, ಎರಡು south pole ಇದಾವೆ, ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತ್ರಿ it will not attract, it will repel. Okay, so this is how the magnet it will apply the forces. And see, some of the electromagnets are also there. Yes, so electromagnet means the name itself indicate the force is exerted by passing the electricity. Okay, when we pass the current or when we pass the electricity, the electrical means the magnetic force is created there when we passes the electrical current through the magnet. So the magnetic force is activated when the electrical switches are on. Okay, so there also. So by passing the electricity we can create the magnetic force. So there only when the magnetic force is created, only when we pass the electricity. ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅವಾಗ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ. ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿವಂದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೈತಿ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ವೈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡನ್ ಇನ್ ದ monorails. monorails ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. These monorails run on the electromagnetical force. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ monorails ನ ರನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತೈತಿ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಗೇನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ monorails stop. So likewise the monorails they run on the electromagnetical force. So when the electricity is passes, the monorail runs, and when we want to stop this, then when to cut they will switch off or they will cut the supply of electricity, then automatically the monorails will stop. So like that it will take place. And the next one is the gravitational force. natural phenomena by which two objects that have mass attract one another. The natural phenomena in which the objects that have mass attract one another is called gravitational force. So see, the gravitational force, the natural phenomena in which the objects that have mass, ಯಾವ objects ಗೆ mass ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, so those objects attract one another is called gravitational force. So for example, see, you all know about the solar system, right? So the solar system, in the solar system, the sun is there at the center and all the remaining 8 planets, they all are revolving around the sun. Okay? So see here, even though they are revolving, so if we observe it from the space, we feel that all the planets are floating in the space. ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಥ್ರೂ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತವೆ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ವೈಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಸೊ ವಿ ನೋ ದಿಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಸೆಡ್, all the planets are revolving around the sun in an electrical orbit. So electrical orbit means there the orbits are not there, like how we made the highways and all. So likewise it is not there, the path is not there in reality. This elliptical orbit, it is the imaginary path, and in this imaginary path all the planets are revolving. Okay, but this movement of all the planets, it is controlled by the gravitational force of the sun. So all the planets, they are revolving around the sun, and this is the gravitational force of the sun keeps all the planets to move in their fixed paths or in the orbits. And the tides on the surface of the earth are also caused by the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon. So this is what, how our all the planets and this means remaining all the heavenly bodies, they all are revolving around the sun, and that is due to the gravitational force of the sun. So by this sun, by the gravitational force of the sun, all the planets are revolving in their fixed axis or orbits. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ, ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಪಾತ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಪಾತ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾವೆ, ರಿವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾವೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾರು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸುತ್ತಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಏನು, ದೇ ಆಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್, ದೇ ಆಲ್ ಆರ್ ರಿವಾಲ್ವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾತ್, and they are very heavenly bodies. So you know how much vast our earth is, and Jupiter is the largest planet. So they all, the heavenly bodies, they are all revolving in a path, and that is, but also even though they are that much heavy, they are kept in the orbit, that is by the gravitational pull of the sun, so that only they can revolve. Even though they are the heavenly bodies, they can revolve in its orbits. So this is what the gravitational force. So just take the all the definitions what I am writing on the board. So the gravitational force, the natural phenomenon in which the objects that have mass attract one another is called gravitational force. And the gravitational force by which the gravitational force by which the earth pulls the objects towards it is called gravity. Yes, the gravitational force by which earth is also having a gravitational force. So the gravitational force by which the earth pulls the objects towards it is called gravity, and the earth's gravitational force is 9.8 meter per second square. It is the earth's gravitational force, that is 9.8 meter per second square. This is earth's gravitational force. So you know, when we throw some objects upwards, so they will come back. Because of this gravity, the earth pulls the objects towards itself, which we throw upside. So for example, you may play. If you throw the ball, again it will come back. If any of the fruits, for example apples or the mango or the coconut, if they fall, they will not go upwards. They will fall downwards. They fall towards the earth because of the earth's gravity. So due to this gravity of the earth, the every objects which we thrown, they will reaches to the ground, because the earth pulls the objects towards it because it's having the gravitational force, and its gravitational force is 9.8 meter per second square. And see, now you may think that then if all the objects which we throw upwards, if all the objects reaches the ground, and then how the rockets are launched. ಈಗ ನಾವು ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಲಾಂಚಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಲಾಂಚಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಭೂಮಿಯಿಂದ ಬೇರೆ ಗ್ರಹಗಳಿಗೂ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ರಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮತ್ತು ಆವಾಗ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟಿ ಆವಾಗ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ? ಎಸ್, ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ನಾಟ್? ಎಸ್, ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ದೇರ್, the speed it is given, the more speed is given to the rockets when they are launching the rockets. The speed of the rocket will be very high, so that only when the speed of the rocket is high, then only they can overcome this gravitational force of the earth. ಈ gravitational force ದಾಟಿ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕು, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾವು, ನಮ್ಮ ಅರ್ತ್ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟಿ ದಾಟಿ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಅವು ನಮ್ಮ ಅರ್ತ್ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟಿ ದಾಟಿ ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಟು ದ ರಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ 11.2 kilometers per second. See, this is the speed of the rocket. Now rocket launch ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 11.2 kilometers per second. It means 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡಿಗೆ ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೈತಿ? 11.2 kilometers. See, just imagine the speed of the rocket. 1 second ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು? Just if you blink the eyes, 1 second over. So ನೀವು ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಚಿ ಕಣ್ಣು ತೆಗೆದು ಏನಾಗೈತಿ ರಾಕೆಟ್ 11.2 kilometers ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. Yes, just imagine how the things are going to be happen. So what, this is how we launch the rockets and all, and this is the gravitational force of the earth. And in the first time it was propounded by the theory of gravity was propounded by the Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton, he propounded the theory of gravity in between the years 1656 and 666. Sorry, 1565. Sorry, 1665. 1665 and 1666. In between these years, the Isaac Newton, he was propounded the theory of this gravity. So he was observed that the apple from the apple tree, it was falling down. Then he was started thinking that why that apple has fallen down, why it did not move upwards. So there he started thinking, and then he concluded that our earth is having some gravitational pull. It is having some energy. The earth is having some energy to attract that apple towards it. That is why the apple or anything which we thrown upwards, that will again it will come back to the ground, because the earth is having some energy. So there he was started thinking, and that is what he found the gravity of the earth. That is the gravitational force. So he was given this gravitational force. Okay. So this is what about the gravitational force, and also the gravitational force. So here we can also give the term weight of an object. Yes, the weight of an object is the measurement of gravitational force between the object and the earth. So the weight, the concept of weight, you have also have to clear the concept of the weight. So this is very interesting one. The concept of weight. So weight of an object is the measurement of gravitational force between the object and the earth. Weight of an object is the measurement of gravitational force between the objects and the earth. Between the objects and the earth. So weight, how can we give the weight? It is the weight of an object is the measurement of gravitational force between the objects and the earth. And see here, weight it includes the mass and the force or the gravitational force, we can say. It is consisting, the weight is consisting, that is why the equation for weight is given as weight equal to mg. Mg means here m is the mass of an object and g is the gravitational force. That is why what we said, weight of an object is the measurement of gravitational force between the object and the earth. So here weight is the force, and while mass is the amount of matter present in an object. So this is the gravitational force. And mass is the, what is mass? Mass is the amount of matter present in it. So this is what? The weight. And see, wherever you go, the mass of an object remains same. Either it is in the earth, or you can go to other planets or on the moon. Wherever you go, the mass of an object remains same. Mass ella kadenu onde irutte. But what happens? The weight go on changing from the planet to planet. ನೀವೀಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಅರ್ತ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೋದ್ರಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವೇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಮಾಸ್ ರಿಮೇನ್ಸ್ 1 by 6 of its weight on the earth. So likewise it is gone varying. Okay, and this is about the gravitational force. Now I will add a video clip regarding these three types of forces: the muscular force and magnetic force and gravitational force. And about the other forces we can discuss in the next class. Now let me show that video. Types of force. Muscular force. The force produced by muscles to carry out tasks is called muscular force. The coolie or porter carries our luggage. They use muscles. And the rickshaw puller ferries people around. They use the muscles. And the types of force. The second one is magnetic force. The force by which a magnet pulls or pushes objects made of certain metals is called magnetic force. The magnet is having two poles, north and south, and when we bring the magnets near to the coins will pull towards the magnet. Yes, the coins slowly move towards the magnet. And likewise, if we take the nails, iron nails, that also attracted towards the magnet. So the magnet applies magnetic force on the coins of iron nails that pulls them towards it. The use of magnetic force. So here some uses are there. An electromagnet is a type of magnet in which magnetic force is created by electrical current. So see the electromagnet, when the electricity passes, it produces the magnetic field there. So likewise it created, and in monorail electricity helped to activate the magnetic force which is used to run the train. The electricity supply is cut off when the rail is to be stopped. And MRI scanners also use strong magnetic fields and radio waves to form images of the body. So likewise. The technique is widely used in hospitals for medical diagnosis. The gravitational force. The natural phenomenon by which two objects that have mass or energy attract one another is called gravitational force. The greater the mass of the body, the higher the gravitational force it exerts. Gravitational force decreases with increasing distance between the two objects. It is the gravitational force of the sun that pulls the planets and makes them revolve in a fixed path. The tides on the surface of the earth are caused by the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon. The gravitational force of the earth is called its gravity. The force by which the earth pulls the objects towards it is called the earth's gravity. Objects when thrown up fall back on the earth because the earth's gravity pulls them towards it. So it is the earth's gravity. The weight of an object is measurement of gravitational force between the object and the earth. Weight is force, while its mass the amount of matter it contains. The mass of an object stays the same wherever it is, but its weight can change. The object is moved to a place where gravity is either stronger or weaker. If we go to the moon or any other heavenly body, our mass remains the same, but our weight changes. So I hope you understood clearly about the concept of these three types of forces, that is the muscular force, magnetic force and gravitational force. And I hope you have understood this, and even though if you have any queries, you just contact me and clarify your doubts, okay? And today's class I will conclude here, and we will meet in the tomorrow's class with next the other types of forces. Until